Some kids are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Just breathe. Uh, uh, yes, 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 yes. Yes, welcome, welcome here. Welcome to another stream, another live session here on the Chaos Rain Show. I'm Chaos Rain here, as always. Let me adjust my mic a little bit. Come on. Okay. Oh my guys. All right. Welcome. The links to follow me are following above. And if they're not in the description, I'll put in the description shortly. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. Also, sorry. You could also follow me on Rumble as well. CRain23 on Rumble. That's my Rumble handler. And it's funny, today's stream is the focus is gonna be on Rumble, and as you see the thumbnail. So follow me on Rumble. So I will drop the link on Rumble shortly, very shortly. Also, join Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show as well. And last but not least, become a member. As you know, I got 2 tiers membership. I'm not promoting the membership with the video I created. I probably will do an upload video of it. I might put in the channel because I think people understand not only membership helps supports the content creator, but the more members, it a little bit makes it more easier per se to add more to the Chaos Rain Show. Maybe get some new equipment, buy some new software, anything in regards, everything that is presented, donation, etc. Eventually does go back to the Chaos Rain Show. And the more the better. Because now I could probably do some things. And hell, depending how I'm moving and how much I grow as a channel, if I get like say 75 or 100k subscribers, I might eventually put myself on camera. Who knows? Who knows? And at the time, with the amount of support, I probably have something more, much more nicer. Because y'all know, camming up is one good thing, but it doesn't always guarantee of growth of channel. For those that don't know, it was that easy. Everybody we came up. I'm just keeping it real. There's some people that came up and they get the same audience. Hell, some don't even grow at all. So I'm not saying put yourself on camera will give you less results. I'm saying you want to start off and build your audience transparency. Build them the way how you want to see fit, where they can rock with you, and then you move from there. And once you have a real core audience, then the next step is to show yourself on camera. Eventually. Most content creators will do it because they got other things, but I think it's more respectful if you're getting and you're growing a large base, that eventually is going to come to a point you're going to have to really show yourself on camera. Eventually. Because as you know, YouTube is a video platform. It's not really designed for podcasting. It does do long content, but nonetheless, it's more predominantly video based. So, all right. So, I'm gonna be looking at 2 different screens. So, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to find the I'm trying to find it. Hold on. I'm trying to find. What I'm trying to find here. Try and find the video. Okay, here we go. All right, so no further ado, let's get this started. And like always, guys, I'll periodically check my likes. Oh, and like I said, donate to the channel. Super chat's available. Cash app's available. Scroll on the screen, and you can see in the chat room as well. So any contribution will surely appreciate it. Last time I had a very great turnout. I expect maybe more, maybe less, depending how the stream goes. And another disclaimer to people that know that made this far. Now they were almost after the 10-minute mark of this. If you put a like and you jump down and don't watch the video, it does not count as a view. Now, one thing YouTube will probably might do, or they might be doing already, if they notice that you're just sitting there, you're just hitting the like button and it's disappearing, it does not really do nothing for the content creators move forward. You had to sit and watch the video for over no greater than 2 minutes for them to count it as an actual participation of the videos or the live streams, not only my channel, but anybody else. So the longer you stay, the better. If you just gave me a like and disappear, YouTube will not grant that. Just a side note. Now I'm going to repeat this every stream I do. So this is for better educational purpose. So no further ado, let's go into it. And I might go back and forth and look up some things, but nonetheless, let's begin. And like always, and we'll do fair use. We'll do fairs here. Let's get started.
Last time you're mentioning, I don't know what happened. I got smoked.
Yeah.
From who knows what. I had like the flu, and it just took me out for like a week.
Yeah.
So happy to finally be here.
Yeah.
Sorry I couldn't make it the last time.
Nah, no worries, man.
We're here now, so
yeah,
let's go.
And special mention, when we were down and out, we were having rough times with different platforms, trying to figure things out. Rumble came to our rescue. So without Chris, this would not be possible.
Yeah.
Even the podcast itself.
y'all wouldn't have Fresh
thank
and
you,
Fit
Chris.
really if it wasn't for Rumble, man.
Yep.
So shout out to Chris and Rumble, stand by and creators, and we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Chris, for the audience, man, can you introduce yourself to them real quick? We know who you are, but they might not. Can you please introduce yourself to them?
Yeah.
And before he introduces himself, I want you to pay attention to the co-founder and the founder of Rumble himself. His backstory is pretty interesting, and how long he's been doing the tech. For those that's not aware of, and I'm going to say this is not going to be favorable. I remember the old man has told a lot of content creators that are male oriented to really have Rumble account and start mirroring and doing content not only on here, this platform, but also on Rumble. Chaos Red is going to vouch and say it is not just something you should have, it's a requirement you should have Rumble account. And the reason why I say it's a requirement now, because Rumble has been around for over a decade, and they now start pick up real headways in the last 4 years. And as y'all know what's going on with TikTok, and I'm going to pull up TikTok because he's going to talk about TikTok in this video, that if TikTok does get banned, I see bigger players, bigger corporations, video platforms from YouTube, including Rumble and some other video plays that I don't know of, might look into purchasing TikTok for the United States base. Possibly. Possibly. But we will not know until the bill is signed off, which is already gone through a lot of the 3 branches. So we gotta wait and see. So listen carefully and sit back. And if you guys have any comments, questions, I prefer it in a super chat. But you know how it is. Oh, and one other thing. Limit how you use caps. If you want to get my attention, it'd be better to be a super chat. If it's lowercase, I might catch it. But do not put all caps in the chat room. The moderator, the bot will immediately put your timeout if you put all caps on every set. If you use like a couple words in caps, a whole sentence, it will block it. So let you know. All right, let's listen in. Fair use.
Yeah, you bet. So I'm Chris Pavlovsky. I'm founder and CEO of Rumble. That's me.
So how'd you get started in tech? Obviously, you're wildly successful. You've been able to build a great platform that's rivaling juggernauts in the field like a YouTube and Twitch, etc. How'd you get your start in tech?
Yeah, so I've been in this for over 2 decades. I was building websites out of my parents' basement. I started, I guess, in high school. That was the age where I kind of really started dabbling in the internet. And then
now, one thing, because Chris is going through his background, how he got started in this, I'm going to do a quick Google search right now of the man. And I think this is educational purpose, not only education, but enlightening. Because we got to know the background of a lot of people. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to look him up right now. Let's see what year he was born and all the other intrigues. All right, so let me go back. All right, let's go. Well, we'll look at Wikipedia first, and then we'll work through Google in regards if this bad pops up. All right, what's his name? Chris. Okay. Let me see if I got his name right. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. I'm gonna find his name. Give me 1 second, guys. Where's his name? Where is he? Chris Pavlovsky. Bear with me, guys. Okay, Chris Pavlovsky. Okay, I found it. All right, so let me find his name. Let me type his name out. I'm going to probably retype his name. All right. I think I found it. Now let me see what I got. Chris Pavlovsky. His name he did not pop up. So one thing I'm gonna do a Google search. Because he didn't pop up. All right, here we go. It doesn't really give a background of the man. Let me see if his LinkedIn goes in more detail. No, his background. He has no background. I find that very interesting. This is what I got from the internet. This part was over 20 years experience in the online marketing and advertising space. So yeah, he's been doing this for 20 years. So we could probably guess he could be either 45 or 46. And I'm just guessing his age because he's been doing this for 20 years. And I could be wrong. He could be as old as 43 or 44. So looks like this man might be in his 40s since he's been doing this for 20 years. And there's no other data of the man. And I'm looking very good. Cosmic development, Ecofarm board members. No, that's not it. 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 Going down. So he went to University of Toronto. Young's Entrepreneur of the Year in 2010. Prior to his entrepreneurial journey, Mr. Pavlovsky served as a network administrator at Microsoft and studio at the University of Toronto. Okay. How much is the founder worth? Right now, he's worth 1.8 billion, which he really got that for the last 3-4 years. Because Rumble started to pick up. And it says Rumble debt. Only debt that Rumble has is 1.92 million since December of 2023, which is not bad for a tech company. And like I said, it's still in its young age. It's in this actually past its maturity Rumble now, because Rumble's been existing since 2013, so it's past the maturity level. All right, so let's keep going now. I'm looking, and he has a IG as well. So we might follow my IG. He doesn't have a big following IG yet, but he will. He certainly will. All right, so let's keep playing the tape, guys, because I don't see nothing else about the man. So let's listen good. Fair use.
And it was like, it's actually a funny story because in 2004 or 2005, one of my good friends from high school, this is post high school now, sends me a link to a website. And at this time, I'm running like funny video websites. And he was running like actually one of the largest video websites on the internet called Zippy Videos at the time. And he sends me a link and he's like, check these guys out. They're going to dominate the space because Zippy, I can't afford the bandwidth costs anymore. And the link was, and this is before they were big, like they weren't even, I think there was a ranker out there called Alexa, and he was like a top 50 on Alexa, global websites. And YouTube was like 15,000 at this time. And the link he sent me was YouTube. And I was like, shit. 2 years later, YouTube's getting acquired by Google. and they end up sucking up all the oxygen in the room as
Now, what he's going for the history of how he came across, I believe, YouTube or Google, as formerly known at the time. And as you know, Google then bought YouTube until 2005. If you go back to the history, so by next year it will mark 20 years since Google owned YouTube. YouTube was really established 20 years ago, to be honest with you, in 2004. But we're not keeping track here. Who's keeping track personally? But, what else here? Let's look at that son. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
Google started integrating them into their search engine and the mobile phones after that, and ended up kind of dominating, not kind of, but dominating the video space post acquisition of when Google bought them. You saw Dailymotion, Meta Cafe, you saw live video, Zippy videos. They all basically, Break.com, they all kind of ceased to exist. And
Was this like in the mid 2000s?
this is 2007 to
Okay.
2010.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of went belly up in the video space, and YouTube just took
over.
over the whole space, like inside and out. They monopolized the whole thing, and they became the only real viable online video platform. So, fast forward to like 2010 now. You probably remember the Maker Studios, the full screens, all the people that were managing talent on YouTube, the multi-channel networks, MCNs is what they were called
Yeah.
at the time. And specifically, like they ended up becoming like this new ecosystem that was built on top of YouTube. And then I started to notice at that time that there was a lot of deprioritizing of like the small creator, your friends, family, aunts and uncles, and the multi-channel networks, the full screens and the makers and all the big influencers, the corporations, the brands were getting all this attention, and they seem to be getting prioritized on YouTube.
I'm not sure if he's going into more of how YouTube started to slowly monopolize the video market, or housing the what we call how we see videos from before live streams were introduced back in 2016, 2017 to regular videos, where it started off where you just upload videos back in 2005. So they would start slowly after they started to get a niche into the market. They start slowly taking out the competition for those that's not been paying attention. Let's keep listening.
So I thought there was like an opportunity starting to emerge around 2010, 2011, and by 2013, I decided that I'm going to go all in on it and try to help the small creator. So I launched Rumble at the end of 2013 on the premise of like bringing monetization and distribution in a fair way to all creators, regardless of their size. It was really kind of focused on that small creator, friends, family, aunts, uncles, viral videos, funny dog videos, etc. And we built a business at the end of 2013 on trying to help the small creator. And then, as time progresses, you get to 2020. The 2020 election cycle kicks in, and something dramatic starts happening. It was, I remember like very vividly, because it was in the summer of 2020 that I got a phone call from the ranking member of the U.S. House Intel Committee. But to put this in perspective,
Whoa.
I'm a Canadian.
Yeah.
Getting a call from like U.S. like a congressman, and then that's on the House Intel Committee, and the Gang of 8 member is like, holy shit, am I under investigation? Like, what is going on?
yeah.
Like, I was freaking out. And I get a phone call from him, and he asks like a really simple question. He's like, Chris, if I bring my podcast to Rumble and I search for my name, am I going to find it? And I'm like, yeah, like thinking that, there's some censorship investigation going on in the House. And I'm like, Absolutely. And he's like, okay, so we're going to bring it and we're going to see if that happens. And I'm like, okay. So, talking to my engineers, making sure if you typed in Devin Nunes, it's going to come up, Devin Nunes podcast. But yeah, it worked. And, this is the craziest thing because you have an elected member of Congress, a Gang of 8 member.
Now, before he continues, to let people know, a lot of people that were in that deals with the social science, the politics side of things that were on the internet for, I guess, for free, I believe, if I want to use that word, they were getting censored. And one of a few things, and y'all know in America there's a right and a left, liberal, conservative, these buzzwords. And personally, with these words, these terminologies, a lot of the bigger corporations, because they want to, keep the delusion going or the illusion going of what really is going on, by feeding people nonsense. Having alternate media is not really in the best interest of business. Oh, and one other thing, if y'all guys want me to take it off the subscriber mode, whoever gives a donation to the channel, I will remove out subscriber mode. Just a side note. So he, like the guy said about the guy that Chris was mentioning, he was getting, I guess, censored on one particular platform. I want what platform you think that is, guys. Y'all want to take a guess what platform that is in the chat room? I'm gonna let y'all think about that. Let's keep listening.
The ranking member of the House Intel Committee that's been on YouTube for 4 years prior to me speaking to him. And he's got like road signs in his district promoting his YouTube channel and his podcast on YouTube. He comes to Rumble, and within 2 to 3 months, he has like 200,000 to 300,000 subscribers on Rumble, whereas on YouTube, in the 4 years that he was there, he has 10,000.
Wow.
So how is that possible? How is it that
I'm gonna rewind that back for y'all to listen to that closely. We're gonna go back.
speaking to him, and he's got like road signs in his district promoting his YouTube channel and his podcast on YouTube. He comes to Rumble, and within 2 to 3 months, he has like 200,000 to 300,000 subscribers on Rumble, whereas on YouTube, in the 4 years that he was there, he has 10,000.
Wow.
So how is that? Talking to my engineers, making sure if you typed in Devin Nunes, it's going to come up. Devin Nunes podcast. But yeah, it worked. And
the guy's name is Devin Nunes podcast on YouTube, now on Rumble. Let's listen carefully.
This is the craziest thing because you have an elected member of Congress, a Gang of 8 member.
And this is an elected member of Congress, mind you, that was censored. Let's keep listening.
The ranking member of the House Intel Committee that's been on YouTube for 4 years prior to me speaking to him. And he's got like road signs in his district promoting his YouTube channel and his podcast on YouTube. He comes to Rumble, and within 2 to 3 months, he has like 200,000 to 300,000 subscribers on Rumble, whereas on YouTube, in the 4 years that he was there, he has 10,000.
Wow.
So how is that possible? How is it that you can have 10,000 and you're like promoting in your district for 4 years, you've had your podcast on there, and you go to a different platform, and all of a sudden you go to Rumble and get 200,000 to 300,000 subs overnight, like in 2 to 3 months? That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Not to an elected member of Congress, but that did happen, and that was that was kind of like the opening that we saw, is that there was a real opportunity here to kind of really like with what these other platforms were doing. We can now step in and like it almost goes back to the same premise of starting Rumble in itself, that
So, what does that tell you? For those that's listening, what that really tell you? If you're on one platform, right, and you've been promoting it not only on the internet but also throughout the road with signs and stuff in your district for over 4 years. And all you commenced was 10K subscribers over the period of 4 years. Then you come on another platform and you gross and grow roughly 200K subs in less than 24 hours. Or maybe I would say go better in a couple of days, to be fair. I'll tell you why that is so possible. Is because, and a lot of content creators have been saying this, and I knew for a fact it does this. Regardless of if you're born dull or irrelevant, you've been shadow banned. That's the only answer I give you. You've been shadow banned. And not only you've been shadow banned, you've been so shadow banned that it actually curved and cut your growth on the biggest video platform right now to date, which is YouTube. Now I remember Obsidian been telling people many times that you should have a Rumble account, you should create one. If this does not convince you now that if you are content creating, you've been putting out content, right? It's good or bad, and all that your work has shown, and it only immense you to roughly the subscribe count you have for as long as you've been doing this, it might be wise to go find another store. Not saying you can't stay in the existing store, but I think it'd be better to have content spread out in different parts. I think it's wise now that you, like the old man said, and I'm going to say voucher, you do need a Rumble account. And I'm not sure what this politician talks about. I mean, he's talking about politics and all that stuff, which is good. But I'm looking at the bigger picture that you've been very much heavily censored. Because how is that you are doing what you're doing and you're not getting results, but you go somewhere else that's not so stringent or keep you in a box, you're able to grow less. And here's the funny thing a lot of people don't know about Rumble. If a person follows you on Rumble, they actually stay unless they automatically remove their following on Rumble, for those that don't know about that. It's not like how YouTube be doing this crap where they unsubscribe people and lower your numbers and shadow ban you, do all this nonsense. Rumble does do that. And I know this is not popular, it's not sexy, it's not a good, real entertaining stream, but we gotta be serious here. Today I'm taking a serious approach to really show, and I am marketing Rumble in a way. I have Rumble account, and I'm probably gonna put that shortly as we go further into the stream. That this is the reason why you need to branch out if you're content creating in other platforms. You should not be loyal to one store. That is foolishness for you as a person or content creator to be loyal to one store and think, and I mean think loosely, you're gonna get a good outcome. Like literally, I would never been loyal to one. I'm not even loyal now to some of these platforms right now, other social media platforms. Since late of 2019, when I first got the slowdown on my channel, I had to make the initiative to really decide what other platforms or other ways to push my platform forward. And I talked to, what was it, BMT, and he gave me suggestions and say, well, why don't you create this account here, and put your content there. And like a person, I take notes, I listened to his advice, and I did so. Now, mind you, it didn't really grow the channel outside YouTube, but it helped greatly that I put my content on another platform. And you as content creator, if you're going to be doing this, you're going to have to be comfortable being uncomfortably doing this more often. You're going to have to spread your content out. It's not a must. It's not a requirement. It is a legit thing you have to do. It's not really recommended. It is required. You need to spread your content out. You have to. There's no in between, or But anyway, I'm gonna let Chris keep talking. Fair use, fair use.
The prioritization that was happening to big creators was now happening to the deprioritization that was happening to small creators is now happening to massive creators on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they were deprioritizing them in some way, shape, or form. Because I remember I would go there and I would search Devin Nunes podcast, and you couldn't find it. When you go to Rumble, you find it. And this was like, this obviously led to like Dan Bongino coming onto the platform.
Yes.
He was, and once he came on, everything changed.
He's huge.
He brought on at that time. Diamond and Silk came on. Dinesh D'Souza came on. It was like a flood of creators after he came on. The floodgates opened, and within a year we had the president. We had the 45th president of the United States on Rumble.
Yeah.
And that happened, I think, in midsummer of 21. So I would say by the midsummer of 2021, we had a pretty good lock on the conservative world, in terms of the political world on Rumble.
Yeah.
We had pretty much, everyone that you can think of. Obviously some weren't there, but a lot of them were there. And that sent us into this massive growth stage where we went from 1 million monthly active users to 30-40 million monthly active users in a span of like a year or two. We took in our first outside capital. We raised money from JD Vance's Naria Capital, Peter Thiel, and Colt Ventures, and even Vivek Ramaswamy was in that first round that we
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
that we
A lot of people
did.
don't know he was like kind of one of the early investors in it.
Yeah. And that was in mid 2021, May, I would say, April, May-ish time period. And then, fast forward to 2022, we end up going public in September of 2022 and a multi-billion-dollar market cap.
Now, what he mean by public, he means that in the stock market. One time Rumble was not on the stock market until the last 4 years, which could be good and bad, how you look at it. Hold on. 1 second, guys. So yeah, so since they're in the stock exchange, now I have not found the actually let me type at Rumble, see what they are on Rumble. Yeah, give me a second. Let me look it up. 1 second, guys. Come on, see if they're in the New York Stock Exchange. What's the symbol of their ticker? All right, I'm gonna type it now for those that's. Okay. Okay. It's in NASDAQ. Is pronounced RUM in the NASDAQ. So if you want to start buying stocks on Rumble on the NASDAQ, that's where you go. All right. So let me put it in the chat room. The ticker for Rumble is RUM. So you do as you please. You can look them up on the New York Stock Exchange. See how much they're selling their stocks. It's good investment. Very good investment, So, and let me look at my likes. Likes look like it's fair for now. Could be better, but can't complain. So let's keep listening. Fairies.
Cap valuation. And that brings us to where we are today, here in the Fresh and Fit podcast studios.
Let's
And stock
fucking
is
go,
going up too
baby.
as well. Stock's going up.
I gotta ask you this, Chris, because I noticed this that when Elon Musk did an interview, and he said one of the first things he noticed when he took over X was that there was a considerable amount of censorship on conservative creators versus liberal creators, and that's just on X, where you're texting things. Would you say you saw that also on the video sharing side, where you got guys like Don Bongino, congressmen, etc., that might have conservative belief systems getting suppressed in big tech?
So something was going on, something is going on.
Okay.
I don't operate these other companies. I can't speak to what they're doing. but I can tell you what I observe and the anecdotes that I see. But when you have someone like Congressman Devin Nunes go from 10,000 on YouTube to 200 to 300,000, and now
crazy.
close,
It's
I think he
insane.
passed 1 million on Rumble now,
Yeah.
subscribers on Rumble. That shouldn't happen.
Yep.
You can call that censorship. You can call that some type of shadow banning. In these cases, they weren't actually banned. They were, they were censored in some way, shape, or form, and that was happening. And it didn't seem to be coming from multiple like from all sides of the aisle. But I will say that that's changed a lot in the recent years. The censorship has now kind of gone into like various different areas. We've attracted people from both sides of the aisle now on Rumble. Like, we had, I remember it was like 2021 and Russell Brand shows up on Rumble, and he's not a conservative and he's, at least in my understanding, he's not a conservative.
Yeah.
But he shows up randomly. I didn't know till like 2 weeks after he showed up in late 2021 that he showed up on Rumble. And, we also attracted like the former Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard onto the platform in 2021. We brought on Glenn Greenwald as well. So like, it really kind of expanded more than just conservatives. Today it's far more now. Now we have, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the platform, also using our cloud as well. It's really, we're really kind of in all areas with content in all areas now. And, but yeah, to answer your question, something was going on and probably still is going on, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
When it comes to censorship and political candidates, etc. And I actually think something worse will happen this time around. So in 2020 and 2021, we saw a litany of bannings happen
Yep.
due to COVID, etc.
J6, all that.
Yeah, all different types of reasons. They found a reason to ban a lot of people. I think the new type of censorship is going to be far more intelligent, and I'm already seeing a lot of signs of it.
Yep.
Before he goes into the more sinister way of censoring people, keep in mind, during that period of 2000 to roughly up to end of 2021, anybody that was talking about the lockdown of the world because of the so-called, virus, any content creator, whether big or small, talked about it. And I mean, talk about it anyway. They would get their video flag removed and slapped on for what they consider medical malpractice or misinformation, which I don't know what that means. Because, and it could tell you, it lets you know that there's a bigger entity that's pushing strings to push our message to the public, what everything else puts and they put under the ether or slide under the rug. Keep in mind that if you were on any platform from I think it was Facebook, especially, and YouTube, and maybe there's other platforms, maybe. The only platform that did not censor what people think of you about this was Rumble, for those that did not know. And that's why Rumble, to me, if they stay the course they are, regardless if they're getting more support or advertisement, they will probably be the last man standing of anything of significance of consider free speech on any platform. Now, mind you, because the speech is free, that means you go crazy and go up like off the wall with your language and all this nonsense. Because there are rules in Rumble that they let you know in guidelines that they can't have on the website. Obviously, they can't be putting on like adult images like videos and other weirdo stuff on there, because that would be a violation for those that don't know. So keep in mind that there are rules for a lot of these platforms. I think one rule was not really declared and their website was taken down eventually, or it was gone eventually, was Black Avenger, which I did an interview with the co-founder that made Black Venture a few years ago. You can find that on my channel right now. Just type in Black Avenger. Chaos represents Black Avenger. I had a good dialogue of the person that created, and I'm not sure what happened to the man since, but ever since that I heard he sold it 2 years ago, and then eventually at end of 2022, I believe, maybe, or 2021, one of years, the website was gone completely. So the website didn't even last 5 years. Personally, it didn't last that long, and I think the reason why it didn't last that long because to be honest with you, it was like a wild wild west over there. You see them dudes, and not only black men, they had some non-black men. They up here calling women her name. One dude said this Negro beep, and all this vulgar language. And I heard one time Black Avenger had adult videos on there. Like literally, no joke. It's wild on that website. And it makes sense why it was eventually had to be taken down. Because there was no rules, regulations. Any person could upload and did videos on there with no restrictions. And yes, you need rules, because if there's no rules, you'd be just like the savages, the animals. It's as simple as that. Anyhow, let's keep listening. Fair use, fair use. And please, guys, donate and contribute to the channel if you can. Fair use.
It's not banning someone is like super obvious.
Mhm.
You can see it, you can feel it, you know it's there, and you can fight against that. You know, people will scream like, and they'll that word will spread. But when you're shadow banned in an intelligent way, where let's say AI gets involved, and your content's coming and showing up to your loyal users, but not showing up to the users outside of that loyal base. Now that's getting intelligent, and you don't know you're banned. You don't know you're shadow banned. I think that's the next iteration of censorship. I think it's already starting to happen on platforms.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents. I think it's going to be an incredibly intelligent censorship operation in the next few years. I think the banning, they learned a lesson, and because in a lot of ways, it opened up opportunities for other companies.
Alternative platforms.
Like now you're seeing a whole economy emerge, and now they're like changing their rules. YouTube's like, okay, we can talk about elections again.
Yeah.
So like they're clearly adapting, and they're I do think a lot of these platforms are going to be participating in some really intelligent style censorship that we can't see or very easily detect, and it's going to be all done through AI and technology.
Interesting.
I would argue it's how
And it's going to be more serious than that. Because one thing is clear. If you're making money, not only on the platform making the money, and they decide to let you go, that's an additional revenue to a content creator that was able to maintain, rather you have a small channel of under 20K subs, and you maintain an audience retention of a live chat of 200 to 300 people watching. That's something that, I'm be honest with you, YouTube cannot ignore. Because if you look at most majority live streams, I'm be honest with y'all, if you have 100K, 200K, 300K, or even go beyond that, for every 100K subscribers base you have on your YouTube channel, you on a minimum, and this is just me, this is my suggestion, and this is what I look at it as healthy stream that's watching a stream. You, for every 100K, you should have at least 1,000 in the building watch your junk on a live stream, and you keep adding up. If you go to another 100K, you want to get 2K. What's the point I'm saying? I'm saying this: the bigger the subscriber base, especially if you're doing a mixture of live streams or videos, and most people nowadays they're going back to uploads, but let's say for a sake they're doing live streams. You want to have an audience that for every subscriber you get, you retain a few of them on your channel. Like right now, on my channel, I got over 1,000 subscribers. So most likely, if I got measure myself, I should personally, if I want to go there, I should have at least 100 people watch my channel if I'm doing a live stream, no minimum, for a 1K subscriber or 1K subscribers. And every subscriber, it should go up. Hopefully, that's how it should go. But obviously, when we look at most content creators that do it, rare the content, if you're not able to maintain that audience for a period of time and it matches your average subscriber base, you have a lot of work to do. Matter of fact, you might have to start changing your strategy on what your platform really is. Personally, and I'm holding harsh criticism because I got to be honest with only myself, but anybody else that's doing this, if you have 300 and some K subscribers, you should not have the people that's watching your joke. They should be roughly close to 2,000 to 3,000 people in the building. You should not be struggling getting or maintain just to get 100 people watching your junk, much as 200. That's unexcusable. That tells me one of two things: either you bought your subscribers, or you're not that good. And people that subscribe to your channel don't want to hear you talk for an hour or 90 minutes or even 120 minutes. I'm the same. But that's just harsh criticism, but I got to go there. Anyhow, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
Happening right now. Wink, wink. Chris.
I think it is happening right now. I'm seeing some evidence of that happening right now. The censorship that I'm starting to see or hear about is very deceptive. I think like the year of 2024, I think deception is going to accelerate to a level that the people that we might think are on our side are not really on our side. I think deception is at a whole new level in the next couple of years, and that kind of dovetails into like censorship. And I can see the fakeness. I can sense it. I can smell it. It's there, but it's just very hard for people to see.
I think the idea of the Trojan horse is very relevant in today's current climate. But Chris, the word free speech is thrown around a lot, from different platforms, different people. What's your definition of free speech?
It's a good question. So I particularly don't use the word free speech. I'm from Canada. I use the word freedom of expression, which is it's in the UN Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19. It's a human right that you have the ability to speak freely. Free speech, freedom of expression. To me, it's the same thing. But online, there are like gates that you have to abide by. Anyone that's claiming they're free speech absolutist online is not being authentic. You cannot be, to the definition of what we understand a free speech absolutist is. Like, it bothers me when I hear people say like, I'm a free speech absolutist, and then next thing you see is there's a compliance with the government or whatever, and it's just nonsense. It's not real.
Right.
So like it's hard to say that Rumble is like a free speech absolutist platform. It's not, because there's guardrails that force us not to be, and that comes into the whole technology ecosystem. Like Rumble is the tip of spear, in my opinion, in terms of mass size. That's pushing tilting the system back into place to the way we understood the internet to be.
And as these go on and on, keep in mind that with anything, competition is always good. It builds, it challenges you, and makes you better as not only a creator, but better in your business. If we didn't have an environment where there's no competition, there's this full onslaught of totalitarianism, in my opinion, especially in the corporate world. When people are not personally, and people are not really challenged, there's no more need for innovation, no more need of creativity. Yes, at the time when YouTube was been in existence, that they might create some things here and there I can't name off, but we all know when there's another big dog in the building, it's going to force you to be in your best behavior. It's going to force you to be good. And Rumble brings in an element to how we should look and view content, And free expression is a better word because he is Canadian, so they don't deal with free speech. I don't know what the Canadian laws in regards to expression, or was considered freedom. But we all know here in America, we have constitutional rights. We have amendments and all that stuff. And we are protected unless the people maintain the protection, but nonetheless we have these in place for our betterment. So all right, so let's keep going. Fair use.
We're the tip of the spear. I really believe that, and we do things that other platforms don't, even when they claim that they're free speech. And I'm not sitting here and claiming Rumble is a free speech absolutist platform. It can't be because of the app stores. The app stores are guardrails.
Yeah.
If we want to reach the mass market, you have to abide by the app stores.
Yeah.
Period. So that's like one major guardrail. The other guardrail for other companies, which we do not have, and it's very unique to us in this system, is the cloud. Parler. We all know Parler. They got shut down after January 6th, based on the premise.
I'm not familiar with Parler. If anybody knows what Parler is in the chat room, please put in the chat room or in the comment section at the end of this video. I surely appreciate it. Fair use.
That a lot of things were organized from Parler, but the facts of the matter is Facebook and other platforms participated far more than Parler,
Yep.
but they didn't get deplatformed like Parler did. So they got treated very unfairly in that situation. And the guardrail there was obviously the app stores were one problem, but the more important problem for them, the one that turned the lights out, the one that put them basically out of business from our perspective, is Amazon, AWS. They shut off the lights. They didn't know where to put the website. They couldn't find a host. They couldn't find a cloud provider.
Yeah.
This was like a major wake-up call for us at the time, because at the time, Rumble was running on bare metal. It wasn't using any of the incumbent cloud platforms, but it was running on bare metal. And bare metal is great because you're leasing servers, and you're kind of building on top of it, but it's not good enough. And I'll tell you guys a story that no one knows, and I'll tell it today.
All right.
All right, now he's gonna go into detail of how to build infrastructure. And this is something for anybody that's a future tech person. Let me make myself bigger. And one thing, if you take anything out of this live stream, regardless of how your retention span or whatever, it's always good to learn from other people that could be your competition, or what they like to call your enemy overall. Because you could always learn something from somebody else. And one of the few things that I think the websites that's no longer here that he's mentioned, and even when I mentioned like Black Venture or Free Venture, what you want to call it, I don't think they had a hosting service of their own to maintain it, in my opinion. I think they were leasing it, they were renting it, and that's what caused the problem why they're no longer here. I think there are some websites that still exists predominantly. I think MySpace still exists. I'm not sure Black Planet still exists. I don't know if they might be gone now, but the point is this: as you're building yourself up, you always want to start building the interior infrastructure, so that you're shielded and protected from the outside. You build from the inside, so you're protected from the outside. Or either or vice versa, you could build the outside and put the inside. But either or, you have to build the foundation base first. So if anything will happen, right? They pull the plug on you and all stuff. What are you gonna do? Do you start over, or you just go find a store? And with Rumble, which the CEO Chris is gonna explain, is how they dealt with the infrastructure part. So listen closely. Fair use.
Exclusive.
Yeah, a little exclusive here for the Fresh and Fit pod. But we were on bare metal, and that was good at the time. It was enough to sustain us through a period where no incumbent cloud platform can knock us out. We're distributed with multiple companies, multiple server companies, and we were able to survive on that basis at that point in time. But it became really apparent for us that that wasn't good enough, and that we needed to invest, we needed to get investment, and we needed to invest heavily in building our own cloud. And not only did I see it as existential for Rumble, I know it's existential. I'll give you this example that I've never told. Not only is it existential for Rumble to be on our own cloud, but I also felt there was a need for other companies like Parler or whatever it may be, whether it's a religious university that Amazon AWS doesn't agree with on a religious perspective, or whether it's a business that doesn't have the same values as Amazon AWS. So we decided to launch build a cloud that's not just for Rumble, the existential threat to Rumble, but for the greater public. And we launched it last week, which is a huge milestone. Like, Rumble now doesn't have the guardrail of someone else telling us on an acceptable use policy at the host level. No one's turning the lights off anymore on Rumble. That's not happening. And now every business out there can have trust in a provider that won't turn the lights off on them based on some ideological or some opinion that someone might have, or some thought, or some, you know, any type of expression they might have. It's not gonna. We're going to be operating very differently than Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. So that did happen. But let me.
So in short, ain't nobody cutting off Rumble anytime soon now. At one time, you know, if they use a third party, they might say, you know, we're going to have to probably shut down. Not anymore. Not anymore. And for the question that's asked, is Rumble a better option? I would have to say, if you're not exploring different websites, different media outlets, whether video or social media outlets, you should not be dedicated or solely be on a platform, personally, as a one-shot pony. You need to spread yourself out. I've been saying this for the last 4 years, going on 5 years, maybe I think it might be 5 years now, maybe. And the reason why I came to this conclusion, because personally, you sell yourself short if you do that. And what I mean, you sell yourself short, you put yourself at risk when you start limiting your options and staying in one platform that is known to censor you, slow you down your growth, and potentially, if you do things that they don't like, will shab you. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I've seen it happen. I remember most of your known well content creators have been talking about they've been shab. I remember one content creator that has and is still trying to get to 50K subscribers. He was shab for nearly 4 years, 3 to 4 years, I believe, maybe 2 years. And the reason why it is because, let's be honest, what he does or anybody else does is not deemed favorable for the advertisements, or it's deemed favorable as any content that it should not be for the public. I mean, that's how it goes. It's designed personally to keep you in limbo. If you're on YouTube, YouTube is designed to keep you at a certain status. Nothing more, nothing less. You will not get beyond that status. And if you try and manage to come out of that status or break through, you might be put back in that same box. I'm just saying, for those that's not knowing this, how the game works. That's how it's supposed to be played out. So like any other content creator, you should not be loyal to one station. You must branch out, find other markets, you know. It's more logic, it's safer, it's better. If you stay in one store, you're going to get the same outcomes. And a lot of people have stayed around for a while to a lot of stores, and they have stopped growing since then. I tell people many times, you need to branch out more. You do this for your betterment. You don't do this for your health. You branch out so that way you can get the better outcomes. And one thing that I hear a lot of regular content creators, right, they got a pretty sustainable size channel or not, they in their mind, they think this platform we call YouTube is the end all be all. And if you're not on here, not nothing. No, that's a lie. There are many more platforms. Now, in regards to the amount of money, I can't say that YouTube is the only resource that you can make money. And I could tell, and that's why I kind of respect the old man, especially. He knows that if you're a person and you are a real content creator, you should not be slowed down at all in any direction you're taking your content. The minute you slow down, right, and you said, I'm only going to stay here and move here and play the rules, you are lost. Like, literally, you have lost. I'm not the proponent of staying one store and then just keep pushing. No, I had to branch out. I tell people many times, you're doing this content creating thing, you're going to have to spread yourself out. You got to spread yourself out. So why? So that way, if they try to shut the lights off, you have another switch going where you could turn lights back on again. Never be loyal to one store. You know what I'm saying? And as a simple analogy, like, do you know the what do you call it? It's like the what do you call it? It's like the stock market. You don't put your eggs in one basket. You put your eggs in different baskets. So that's the only lesson you should learn. And another thing, if you guys watching the video, please stay on it for over 2 minutes or more. They will grant the like and the view if you stay and watch the video. So don't just hit the like and then bounce off. That's not gonna be feasible to YouTube. YouTube's gonna look at that as a spam. That's let you know. All right, let's keep going. Phase.
Step back. I think I'm just trying to remember the date. It might have been. I think it was July 4th weekend, where we had.
This year?
It was, I think, 23.
Okay.
It could have been 22 actually. It might have been 22 or 23. It's either 23 or 22.
Yeah.
Where when was the Russia war? When did that
Oh,
start?
I think 21 it started.
So it's probably 22 then.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the date. The time flies and dates get all mixed up in my mind.
Yeah. Or 22. I think it started February 2022.
Where
Yeah.
we actually, behind the scenes, and we already had a lot of infrastructure by this period kind of built out, where Rumble was sitting on its had the available infrastructure in place, our own servers, the ones that we actually own and bought with our money. And we were setting up like a CDN, we were setting up like the cloud, we're setting it all up, and we get like a notice from, at the time it was IBM, saying they're shutting us down.
Wow.
That happened
Did they even say
on
why?
a July 4th weekend.
Did they even say why, or?
It was so brutal. They couldn't cite a policy. They didn't have a policy that we violated. We didn't violate anything. They were citing EU stuff, not American stuff. And, you know, at that point in time, it was it was all hands on deck that weekend. And it was like a miracle. Like all our engineers came on deck. We moved everything as much as we possibly could over to Rumble, the Rumble infrastructure, and we survived without even the lights going off for a second, because we just invested in the right place at the right time. And you know, it was way faster than I thought it was going to have to happen, but we did it, and it was like I remember I tweeted something on that weekend on July 4th, like, this was like, you know, it's July 4th that happened. We were literally, you know, we were defending and protecting freedom of expression more than anyone at that very moment. And our whole team was working overnight that whole weekend on July 4th weekend. And it's like a story that I hold very, very dearly to myself. And it's one that, you know, all the engineers that were behind that and getting that up, they're heroes. They're like heroes for doing that. And that happened behind the scenes. And now we're at a place where, you know, it's many years past that now. Now we have our own cloud. We're, you know, uncancelable. We were uncancelable at that moment too.
Yeah.
Which was great. But like, it was, you know, we didn't want to go 100% on our hardware at that point in time. It was like we were trying to do it nicely.
And I think that's something that.
So yeah, man. As you can tell, like anything, if you go all in, you got to go all the way in. And remember, like, they were building their catalog up nicely. They take their money and they reinvest in the business, which most people that, if they're starting a business, you should be doing anyway. Like I said, with y'all guys' help, you know, y'all support the channel, I reinvest into this. Simple as that. As you know, there's not much commercials at this time. I pick and choose commercials on here, but mostly whatever y'all guys give me is what goes back in here. Well, the point is this, that and mind you, the goal tonight's stream is to $50 roughly support. But like I said, it's like this. You had to take what you get earning, regardless small or big, and you have to take it back and put it back in the business. Now, this is old business 101, and I think that most people that are entrepreneurs or in the entrepreneurial journey, you're going to have to always know saying the money you make is not your money. What's good, Mr. O? It's not your money. That money you make or you get has to go back. I mean, go back to business. So that way you could expand what you're doing. If you take your money and spend it, and I know this is gonna hurt some feelings. I remember there was one particular female content creator. You might not know who I'm talking about. How she started making some money a few years ago. I think in 2019, I believe, maybe. And how much she made? I remember this from the guy named the Accountability Channel. How she made, I'm not sure if that first month or whatever, she made like over 50K in ad revenue. She went and took that same money, did not reinvest back into the business. She went and spent it like a typical woman. But I'm thinking, say, can you imagine that? You make a surplus of money. That money should not be spent back in your pocket where you go spend it to go shopping and go traveling, all this nonsense. That money's supposed to go back into the business. And she had to learn a hard lesson because she got audited badly with taxes. Like literally, she got audited badly. Now, mind you, anytime you get 50K in a month or wherever you made that, right? And you did not report that, and you slightly go back and they audit you for that because they know how much money you make. There's nothing that you can hide from, Internal Revenue Service. You up in there, you're gonna feel depressed. Cause now I say you're gonna be hit with a heavy fine and bill, or even a debt that you had to eventually pay back. Now I'm not sure if she paid it back. Maybe she did, maybe she not. I don't know. But it lets you know saying that if you're a woman, especially, and I rarely hear some men, but I always find when women make money and they make money fast, they don't really invest in a business like that overall. They go back and they put it back in themselves. They spend on themselves. And eventually, if anything of regards improvement of the quality of what they're doing, that ceases to exist. How I know? Because you can look at most of the content now. If you're making that amount of money, you should be on camera. You should be having like a nice little setup. Not to be a studio, but a decent setup. It should show some that what you're doing, building yourself up, it should go into something. But y'all know, y'all don't hear me. When a lot of people make the money, they don't really put back into the business. I'm sorry. I know it's going to hurt some feelings, but I'm keeping real honest. Whether you get advertising or you get super chats or whatever. If you're making that amount of money in a month, or even let's say you're making more than that in a year, or you're making, let's say, 5 or 10 grand a month in your channel. I'm just throwing numbers, right? That money should not be spent back to yourself. That should be spent back in the business. Do y'all hear me? Do you understand? I'm hoping that I'm not going over your head with this. All right. But this is something that you can learn because as this man, Chris Pawlowski, said, he did not take the money, he didn't spend it on himself and all that. He went and invested every money he made going back into business to make it as strong as it's supposed to be possible. And that's what most people that if you're doing this for the first time or you're a first time entrepreneur or been existing entrepreneur, you always want to take what you make, put back in the business first. You should get the less, but everything should go right back into business. So nothing else you learn that. All right, let's keep listening. Face.
That people underestimate, Chris, about you is that like all the work that goes behind the scenes. I mean, daily there's articles criticizing you. Daily there's people saying terrible things about you. Daily they're trying to shut you down. Daily they're trying to tarnish your character, the business's character, etc. Like, we always say, freedom of speech isn't free. Like that's literally like the quintessential example. Like people are constantly trying to come at you guys. How do you deal with that, man?
You know what? It's
because that's just one story. But I wish you guys knew some of the other stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously, we're not going to talk about here.
People don't understand how much pressure Rumble gets on a daily basis.
You know what though? Like
it's crazy.
I asked that question. Why did Mark Zuckerberg fold on all the things that he's folded on? I ask this question all the time, and the answer to me is like pretty simple. It's pretty easy to be strong. I just think there's a lot of weak people right now.
Yeah,
and they're like, I'm defending a human right.
Yeah.
Period. that should be pretty easy. For me, it's pretty easy. Why it's hard for everybody else, that's a question we need to ask them. I'm happy defending that human right. It makes me proud. But the sad part is how many weak people there are out there not doing that and folding to like any type of criticism that they have. It just requires a little bit of strength, and that's what this company, Rumble's built on. It's built on strength. It's built on pushing back. It's built on telling governments to, pound sand.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Russell Brand situation. They sent you that letter, right? I remember you posted on X how when Russell Brand got canceled or demonetized, they asked you, hey, is Russell Brand monetized on Rumble? And they were trying to get him demonetized on Rumble as well. And you basically told them to go pound sand, which is huge because other platforms always bend the knee to governments. What's that like taking on governments? Because the UK isn't the only government that's come after you guys. I mean, obviously we've talked about France, Brazil, etc. What's that like, man?
So the UK situation was absurd. It was like
Sent you that letter, I remember.
Yeah, an MP, I believe, I don't remember exactly, sent us a letter to say, hey, like demonetize Russell Brand, do this, blah blah blah.
Crazy.
And I'm like, what law? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like just because you say so?
Yeah.
Like how does that work? And you know what the scary part is though? All the other platforms did it.
Yep.
And I'm like, why?
It's a good question.
Like,
scary times.
It's like you saw the letter. We put it out there publicly.
They never
TikTok
even got
it as
arrested,
well.
dude. It was merely one accusation. Like nothing came out.
These
and
are
they just,
accusations from people we don't even know.
yeah.
They didn't even name the names. Anonymous accusations, I think they are from like 20 years ago. And like that's not my business.
Yeah.
Like our business is video. It's streaming. It's like it's an online video platform. It's VOD. It's that's our business.
All right, let me stop again. Let me get a breather. All right, let's keep going. Oh, one other thing. In regards to, and like I said, I will open the chat room once people throw $5 into this. I want to open the chat for anyone else that will want to get their take on it. Remember, the target goal is $50. They talking about that is free now. YouTube is not free. For those that's not familiar, if they go to Rumble and compare Rumble and YouTube, yes, you can upload, you can create an account for free and all this nonsense. But let's be clear, gentlemen and ladies, there's nothing considered free. Anytime you're on somebody else's platform, they're profiting. They're making some more money, right? You see it or not. Keep that in mind. Your viewership, your subscription base, your participation, or even getting the app, they making money. Are y'all aware of this? Do y'all know that, right? Okay, if you didn't know, you now know now. All right, let's keep going. Farious.
Business. That's my focus. If I were going to sit here and judge every single character on what they do in their personal lives, if YouTube was going to do that, well, they got to start digging a lot more because there's a lot of people on their platform they're going to have issues with if they start digging because like anonymous accusations, that's.
Oh, welcome, Tevin King. I see you in the chat room. Oh, the classes went well with you. Learning code is very challenging. Take it for someone that did it. I had to go back and redo it, but it takes a lot of time and patience and a lot of work, few hours to understand the basics. So I know the feeling, Tevin King. But let's keep going, guys. Fair use.
It's a pretty broad reason to try to deplatform someone from a video platform.
Yeah.
Like that's it's just ridiculous. Like it's upsetting to see how there's no backbone at any other platform out there when it comes to this type of stuff. Like focus on your business. Your business is, if your business is video, it's video. If your business is to like pursue crimes that other people did, then that's your business. Like, but like, don't tell me that that's what we have to do now.
Yeah.
Like we're just a video platform and we have our terms of service. And if you abide by them, great. That's all we're focused on. But if he doesn't, if someone does something that's illegal in society and does something wrong, That's society's judicial process to take care of that. That's not Rumble's process. That's not Rumble's obligation. We're just a video platform. Leave us alone. We just want to operate a great video platform.
Now, Chris, there.
Yeah. I mean, all the other extra politics, that's not the concern of, let's be honest, a lot of social media and other platforms. They're just here to make content. And a lot of people understand, especially people that know videos matter. Not only videos matter, but the clout matters more. And if you're able to galvanize an audience in the few hundreds and even over thousands, you do paint a target on yourself. That's why they always keep an eye out of other media platforms. They have to keep an eye out on other media platforms because the more attention they get and the more they're able to attract the regular viewers, the better. And that's something that why, if you look at Chris, don't understand that they will leave you alone to a degree. But at the end of the day, if you have someone else that has a bigger voice and is much more popular more popular than the news outlets, news anchors that promote, unfortunately, different information, and we could say as far as propaganda, that's a problem. So, yeah, you're a video platform and you should be left alone. But really, truly, attention matters. And to keep the hearts and minds and eyes of the people, they got to monitor where they keep getting their attention from. That's the only thing that if Chris didn't understand, Chris Pelosi didn't understand, he should understand now that you will never be left alone the bigger the platform gets. I'm just saying. Before we continue, I have something here. Hold on. Here we go. Get your hand out of my pocket! What you doing in my pocket, nigga? As I see the first super chat. Yeah, man. Python class is kicking my. Yes, it is. And it's supposed to. Because Python is not easy. As a matter of fact, I'll refute that. Python is not difficult. It depends where you're learning from, who's teaching it. Because the instructor is one that helps to facilitate the understanding of Python. You as the person, you have to be able to pay attention to detail and know if your instructor is well versed and well accessible so you get the best outcomes to understand the material. That's one thing that separates a lot of teachers from the students. How well a teacher is able to teach you so you understand the material. All right, Tevin King, thank you for your $10 super chat. And since we are over the like I promised, I'm going to open the chat room now for those that's watching. And I'm going to do that now. Actually, as I'm going through, I'll open it out. Let me keep playing the video. Let's keep going. Fair use.
Creators that do cross the line sometimes, a little bit too far, you would say, on some platforms. How does Rumble handle that? For example, they cross the line where it's like maybe
Citing violence or something.
Violence, or maybe even like corn,
Yeah.
How does...
So, obviously we have a terms of service. We do not allow a lot of types of we do not allow inciting and violence. We do not allow pornography, etc. So, that you have to abide by. You have to abide by our terms of service. And like I said, there is no platform that I know of that's of mass scale that sits on their own cloud that has to adhere to their cloud. But there are the guardrails of the app stores, and everyone needs to be conscious of that and aware of that. And until someone comes up with another phone to compete against that market, that's the guardrail we're going to have to be a part of. Like, if you want to have any sort of mass market appeal, you have to be in the app stores, plain and simple. So when it comes to that type of stuff, it's, there's obviously very strict policies in place. And also, one of the things we like to do differently, and we're trying to figure this out. Like one of the things that happens on YouTube that gets taken advantage of are DMCA's, for example, copyright.
Yeah.
That's part of the law. You got to take it down. You know, we got to strike accounts if they violate copyrights. You got to ban accounts if they do it too often.
Yeah.
But like one of the things we like to do is like, I don't like the idea of like a permanent ban unless it's like some fraudulent type of behavior, like spamming and stuff like that. But when it comes to like copyrights, you want to kind of reach out to the creator, give them the option rather than strike them, but give them the option, give them a window to take it down. It might have to be fast because, you know, there's liability there, but like kind of work with the creator in a different way than the other platforms have to kind of like help them, you know, get into policy and not violate and not ruin their whole businesses and livelihoods because they made a mistake they were not aware of. Innocent mistakes happen all the time. And then there's a lot of like mobbing happening where someone will just like doesn't like
bots.
somebody and send like a whole crowd to take that out. And we see that all the time. And like we're like kind
of... And what he means, you see people that are doing false flagging of any nature. That's what Chris is expound on, the flagging. I remember a good clinician said that his videos that he'd been doing, particularly on the ladies, were getting flagged now. That were never flagged before, and he's disputing now that it never happened before. And he might assume that there's one particular content creator lady that might be involved doing so. But my thing is this: our systems function, especially on YouTube, and I can't speak for Rumble because I have Rumble as well, and I have some videos up there. I don't have a lot of videos because I don't post enough. I'm more focused on building the audience. I hope people that watch videos, they'll follow me before I start throwing more content there. Rumble will work with you if you're a content creator, so you don't get permanently banned from their website. Certain YouTube, certain other sites like YouTube, they will ban you. We hear countless content creators that they deem or they say or they seen that is considered problematic. They will eventually get rid of you. You know, on YouTube especially, eventually, and eventually you got to sit there creating another account and all that stuff, depending if they'll grant you. But overall, how YouTube works is that they will completely remove you from the platform. And the reason why they do so because they get paid by advertisers. Like literally. So it's not something that YouTube is a bad platform, but let you know saying you have to tread lightly using their platform. Their rules, their term of service, as we see it as known, is never transparent. They always change the rules on you every day, every quarter or so. They're always giving you different terms and service on this nonsense, you know. And to me, I find it to be sickening, personally. Like really sickening. But what do I know, guys? I mean, if you put all your eggs in one basket, you're going to have to be a good boy or good girl to their rules. And not only be good boy or good girl to the rules, you have to really be and tread softly on what you do on their platform. You know, which I think is wrong personally. But you know. And trust me, there are other content creators that done worse and they still have their platforms. And I don't know why, but it is what it is. I mean, I ain't gonna name them because y'all know them. Y'all can search for the internet yourself. All right, let's keep going. Farious.
guys, this is Rumble. We're not gonna fall for that shit. Like,
Yeah.
But it still happens. It's like it's unbelievable, like how they assemble activists to try to take people out, and that works really well on these other platforms. It doesn't work on Rumble though.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Because you're giving the creator a chance to say, you know what, this is my platform, but you know what, regarding your actual content, fix it up real quick. We'll make sure that you're good to go on the platform still, rather than saying, oh, you're out of here completely, you're gone, you're banned. That's good.
Besides Russell Brand, you were
and that's how it's supposed to be. You know, you're not supposed to. And I know a lot of dudes were complaining about certain women that said some off the wall stuff about men, and some of them still keep their platform. Hell, some of them are even eventually banned by other third parties. But if you are protecting a certain group of people and not protecting another group of people, especially when talking about the genders, the different sex, it's not considered fair and balanced. It's not really a platform that really truly you give him the create the expression of creation. And to me, I think that's wrong. But like I said, I'm not the moral police. People do what's the best interest. I think the best interest does not suit the move forward of a lot of platforms, as y'all could tell. And like Rumble, the CEO or the founder said himself, the CEO or the founder said himself, he's not in the business of just removing you. Now, he'll work with you, but he's not going to permanently ban you. You know, and he's not going to have a team or anybody like what you see they do on YouTube, where people could do this type of false flag and all that stuff. They're not going to abide by that. So for those that content creators are ones that's watching, you know, I'm just saying, if you're not married or having content on another platform, you put yourself at risk. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, let's let the thing keep playing. Various.
We're also there, you know, obviously you were behind us when we got demonetized, but when Andrew Tate got canceled everywhere, you were there as well. Can you tell us like how that came to be, and how you guys built that relationship? Because obviously, you know, the Tate brothers are huge on Rumble, but how'd that come to fruition?
Yeah, no, the Andrew Tate channel on Rumble, you know, so Dan Bongino has definitely, you know, put us on the map.
Mm-hmm.
He brought in like massive amount of users onto the platform. It really kind of, that's where, you know, a lot of the magic happened. When Andrew Tate came on, believe it or not, he was the second largest after Bongino, that had influence in terms of like app downloads and subscribers. I think he's almost at 2 million on Rumble already.
Yeah.
That August, the wave was enormous. And, you know, same idea. Like all the platforms just turn someone off and we don't know why.
One
all
by
these
one.
accusations.
Starts like Instagram, then Facebook,
It's
then
the
YouTube.
same story with a lot of these creators. And it's just like, you know, we were pursuing to get them onto the platform even prior to when that happened. But you know, it's just unbelievable how it all happened. You know, the impact that he had on Rumble, I think, is enormous. He was like, he had us, I think, #1 in the App Store for quite some time at that point in time. You know, and that was when Rumble needed a lot of work. Our UI was, I think a lot of people still remember us from that era, which is now, you know, 2 years ago almost. So, you know, a lot of people remember us from that era where, you know, we didn't have product teams. We were a small company, just raised money for the first time ever. Remember in 21, when Peter came in, that was the first time I raised money.
Wow.
For this company. In 2013, I went to everyone. I actually went to one of Peter Thiel's venture capitalist firms and pitched them. And like everyone thought, like, you're crazy competing against YouTube. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
And
No. What do you mean? What he's thinking? He's thinking of not only competing but also dominating. And this is what happens to a lot of young future entrepreneurs. You got to have that killer instinct. You got to have that drive. I don't where the hell you get it. You must have a certain charisma, a certain edge towards yourself to know and saying that you're going to be out here. You're going to go out here. You're going to grind. You're going to compete. You're going to knock off the competition. See, anytime when you ask for, you know, a third party to support what you're doing, and they telling you that you're crazy competing with someone else, keep in mind that's a code language saying that I'm in beds with these people. Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Because think about why would you be against another person that's trying to establish something that could be either good or even better than the platform we see now? Because you are in beds with those type of conglomerates. That's why you'll tell and knock down, shoot down anybody else that try to create some alternate better than YouTube. Sorry to say that, but that's the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? It's just the honest truth. All right, let's keep going. And yeah, he's not crazy. He's brilliant.
And, you know, by 2021, like that was our first investment from Peter, JD, Vivek, Colt, etc. And, you know, we didn't have the best UI. We didn't have the best software. We had a lot of improvements to make, and we, I think we've made a ton of progress. And
Yeah.
you guys
A
have
lot.
seen it. You guys are like
Yeah.
going through the pains with us.
Yeah.
And people don't understand something when it comes to Rumble. We're not just building software on top of Amazon's technology, their cloud,
Like
or
some
even their
platforms.
live streaming software. We're actually building software that sits on top of our hardware where we're
Bam.
plugging in the wires ourselves,
Bam,
and we
yeah.
got to make all this stuff work. Like
Exactly.
there's so many things happening here, and that's why we're uncancelable. But like, and that's the benefit of it. But like, we have so much more work to do because of what we stand for and what we do in this world, that it's not as quick as some people like it to be. But I think now the velocity with the teams we have in place
Yeah.
is increased dramatically. And I think we're at a point right now where we're ahead on features now than some other platforms. We're ahead in certain areas. We're behind in others, but I think we can be very ahead in a lot of different ways by the end of this year on the majority of aspects to the platform. So
And people underestimate how hard it is to actually be independent. It is not easy, guys, to like stand up to these big companies that have a huge infrastructure. They have a head start. They have Google behind them, etc. So for you guys to be able to build up your own infrastructure, it's going to take some time. And which, by the way, guys, we'll have a Q&A at the end here. So if you guys have any questions for Chris, whatever, as far as like Rumble goes, on the future,
Rumble
etc.
rants.
Well, yeah, Q&A. We will go ahead and answer those questions for you. We got y'all. But sorry. So you guys obviously are improving. You guys recently, a couple big developments recently. I guess we could start with Barstool Sports, then another thing. So you guys recently got Barstool Sports on board. How did that come about?
And what you're going to hear now is he's going to go into the details of the major moves they made to make Rumble more of a appealing platform. Because when you have other platforms that's looking for a streaming service or where to host their videos, it's an A+ to grow their platform. For those that don't know, and like I said, what Myron just said, it's not easy. It's never supposed to be easy because you are doing something that no one else. I think there's like a percentage of maybe under 20% people that are entrepreneurs, like real entrepreneurs, and the majority population that's working people or work for people are roughly over 80 or 85, 87%. And I'm just guessing off my head the percentage, but it's pretty high for those that don't know. When we talk about entrepreneurship, there's no room in percentage that you're going to have a full set of population be entrepreneurs. No, you got somebody work for somebody else, and you got some people that's going to create some and be the builders. That's how society is run, and that's how society is moved forward, especially in the West. For those that don't know, outside America, maybe it might be a little different, maybe, but always when you're living in a more capitalist industrial system society, you got more workers work for somebody than people that's entrepreneurs. That's how they structure society, unfortunately. All right, let's keep listening. Fair use.
yeah,
That's
it's
huge a pickup.
Yeah, it was a big pickup for us. So we got the whole Barstool portfolio on Rumble. It's a partnership that extends not just on content but also cloud and also an advertising relationship as well. So it was a great pickup for us. The thing I like the most about the Barstool deal is Dave is now an equity holder of Rumble. He didn't come for the purpose of only taking cash. He wanted mostly equity, and he took mostly equity, and that's exciting to me to have like a partner that really wants to get behind this business and help it a lot. I just did a pizza review with him a couple weeks ago. He came to the offices. Great guy. Excited to be working with those guys. So it's great because that really kind of helps us build that Rumble Sports portfolio. We have the UFC in Canada, so you can actually do pay-per-view in Canada for the UFC on Rumble. And we have the Power Slap, which
Yeah.
you guys have been to the event.
Huge
That's
event.
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
like crazy. You guys, who came? I know you came to the last one, right?
Yeah, I
you didn't
think-
come, right?
Were
you there?
I missed it. I
Okay.
literally just missed it.
That like, do you see the lineup
You
that came
guys
out there?
had Travis Scott there.
We had
That's huge.
Everyone there.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
It was like insane. So like this sport the trajectory of this sport, I think someone just wrote an article about it like a week ago. But the trajectory, the demand, the amount of people that want to be there, and the way we're building the sport, like via influencers, I think is
That was genius.
I think it's something very special. And Rumble's got the exclusive distribution rights to that, which is like a big deal for us.
That's what's up, man. Because the slap competition is very much popular. If you watch a video on YouTube of a person set somebody up to slap them in the face, it's breathtaking. I tell you, it is so exciting. It's so immaculate to see a man just start bracing and say, preparing, and then take his right hand and just slap the taste out of you. And trust me, you can lose consciousness with a good slap. That's why women don't understand. If a man slaps you with the full force, you will get a concussion, baby. Like good. If a man, you know what the ball says? You could take his hand and slap the taste out you, and you can be unconscious. And I wish I could play a few of that, but I'm not gonna search for it on the internet. I can find it on the internet. Anyway, let's keep going. Furious.
We also have Street League skateboarding. We have the exclusive rights to all of that. You wouldn't picture Rumble as being the place for skateboarding, but it is. We also have Nitro Rallycross Racing. We got Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships on Rumble. We have a lot of stuff, and then we added Barstool to. We're really kind of pushing that sports category in a way that in the last year that has become like the main category of investment for Rumble. And it's helped us broaden our audience and change the perspective of the platform.
WWE.
That's a great question. I've had conversations about this internally and externally as well. We would all that type of stuff we eventually want to make moves for. We want everything on Rumble. We're not, we're very agnostic, so like whether it's any sport out there or any type of entertainment or in any category, we want to make a move for, and I'm all for it. Like the WWE, I think would be a good match for the current audience that we have. So it's a good idea, and who knows what happens in the future, but we're gonna pursue all different types of content all the time.
I guess it is.
Yeah, if I think WWE now is on was it Peacock? I forgot what network they're on now. I could see Rumble getting some money from WWE because how WWE is, they have censored, uncensored type of content. It'd be more invested if they upload their videos on both platforms. Because now you could see the actual uncensored version of them cussing and all that stuff on Rumble, but on regular channels, they'll get more of the cleaner version. And I think that would be the best move for WWE because let's be honest, wrestling is raw. It's very raw, uncut. Hell, AEW. I was surprised if AEW is not on Rumble. They should be on Rumble already, to be honest with you. And they're just a growing wrestling platform like everything else. Like literally, no joke. Hold on. Let's check this out, guys. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
This with all authority and I want to say grace. When I was at the Power Slap event, the anticipation waiting for that slap to happen to somebody is incredible.
So quiet.
You're on your seat like, is it gonna get knocked out? It's so crazy, bro. But tell the Power Slap. That's Dana White. It's really good.
So you guys got Barstool. Obviously the app is improving. The whole experience that you guys launched, Rumble Studio as well, the cloud. There's also some new developments recently that came out like literally less than a week ago with TikTok. Can you tell us what's going on with that? Give the people kind of an overview of what's going on with TikTok and how Rumble is adapting to it.
All right, now here's the part with TikTok. And as he goes in, let me type in TikTok ban right now and see what's the status right now. So he's about to cover that. let me do this. I'm gonna do this now. All right, guys, stay put. I'm going to type it up and look for it right now. Bear with me. I'm going to try it. TikTok ban. All right, let's look what's going on here. All right, I see a lot of articles being put out here right now. And I'm looking at which one to look at first. I'm going to check the Washington Journal, see if they have an article on this. I doubt it's going to be free, but let me look. Nope. Next article. Nope. That's blocked. Let me see if CBS has something to say about it. Okay, I'm gonna do some short reading on this. The only thing that I could look forward to is this is CBSSN News. All right, so let me before he goes into this, I'm gonna go into reading this briefly. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I might, but we'll see. Just to go through the information itself, and he's gonna explain about TikTok, and after that, you know. All right, Washington, America. Okay. When will a TikTok ban go into effect? All right, this is a very important question. And it's now headed to the Senate that's being played now. All right, Washington, America could lose access to TikTok within months if the bill that seeks to force its Beijing-based parent company ByteDance to sell its stake is signed into law. But the popular video sharing app potentially shifts demise depending on whether the bill can overcome a number of hurdles. Case in point, lawmakers have long tried to regulate the platform because of its ties to China. They argue it's threatening national security because the Chinese government could use TikTok to spy on Americans or weaponize it covertly, influence the U.S. public by amplifying or suppressing certain content. TikTok has repeatedly stated that it would deny requests from the Chinese government for American data. It also points to projecting Texas initiatives that TikTok began in 2022 to safeguard American user data on servers in the U.S. and ease lawmakers' fear. But the House already passed measures Wednesday that gives ByteDance a choice: sell TikTok within 6 months or lose access to the App Store and web host service. Oh, this is really serious. Oh my God! I know that's how serious this is, guy. This ain't no joke, guys. They giving people that run TikTok an ultimatum: either you sell it, or they're going to permanently ban it. So that's the gripes of TikTok. Damn. Wow. I had no idea. All right, let's keep going. And they're getting up to 6 months. So when they start talking about it, this is like probably either in February or January, roughly, not March. I would say this was going roughly in the last month and a half. So they have until February, March, April, May, June. They have until sometime to make a decision what if they're going to sell or not. Either that they're going to put the bill, pass it through, and they're going to have no choice because the government's going to take control one way or the other. Wow, they're not playing at all. All right, let me keep going. The House overwhelmingly passes a measure Wednesday that gives by days. Okay, go on. Is now head on the Senate where its future is uncertain. Yes, if once it gets past Senate, yeah, it's gonna be right. It doesn't appear that the Senate is in any hurry to send the bill to President Biden, who recently said he would sign it. So your president is going to sign the TikTok ban. Now, mind you, Trump, when he was in office, he wanted TikTok ban. So no matter how TikTok plays it during this election, either they make the ultimatum that the United States give them, or they're going to lose it. There's no in between. A number of senators have noted the upper chambers move slower than the part which passed the measures just 8 days after it was introduced. It's hard for me to imagine that it be real fast. We don't do things fast. We design not to do things fast. So I would think months. Senator Kevin Cramer, a Republican from North Dakota, said Wednesday when asked about the timeline. On Thursday, Democrat Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon said a lot of mistakes got made when you rush it without thinking through the implications. Majority leaders Chuck Schumer, a New York Democrat, has been non-committal about bringing it up for a vote, but the House bipartisan support for it and then the White House request to move quickly put pressure on the Senate to act. So they're really trying to rush through this. I'm not sure we're gonna be waiting until June at most for them to pass this bill and the president sign it and it's taking effect. I think we have more than maybe close to May at best, but we'll see. Senator Mark Warner, a Virginia Democrat, said Thursday that we started conversations with Schumer. Warner, who chaired the Senate Intelligence Committee, endorsed the bill after its passage in the House. He said he also had a primary conversation with Senate Commerce Committee Chair Mara Catwell, whose panel would likely have to approve a measure restriction of TikTok. Catwell has not backed the bill and suggests it may undergo changes. It will be taken to my Senate and House colleague to try to find a path forward that is constitutional and protected civil liberties, the Washington Democrats said in a statement Wednesday. Critics said the bill violates the First Amendment right of 170 million Americans on TikTok by taking away a platform they use to express themselves, get information. Oh no, right there. See, that's the problem. 107 million Americans. You have roughly 330 something million. So if we subtract 170, that means you got more than half the population on a platform that you don't control. I can see now this is a problem. This is a big problem now. Now, if this is like maybe 50 million Americans, no problem. But once you talk about half the population, yeah, that is actually a national security risk. That's an actual national security risk by reading this. Keep that in mind. Some senators have said they want to make changes to this House bill, and amend versions would have or then have to back through the lower chambers if it passed the Senate. Republican Senate Josh Hawley in Missouri was doubtful it would get a floor vote. What happens if TikTok bill passed the Senate? If the House bill becomes law, it will make it illegal to distribute apps development by ByteDance or ByteDance, its sole subsidiary, and other forms of control by a foreign adversary, unless the company offloads the app within 180 days, which is roughly 6 months. Yeah. A sale of TikTok faces its own challenges. The app is sure to have a multi-billion-dollar price tag, which few companies or investors could afford. A deal with any tech giant that has the financial resource is likely to hit antitrust roadblocks, and any sale will require China sign-off. The Chinese government has said it opposed a forced sale. The 6 months decline to sell TikTok or be banned could also be extended, aiming a legal battle. TikTok CEO Shou Zing Chu, who was on Capitol Hill on Thursday meeting with lawmakers, has indicated the company will challenge it. That's not wise. I wouldn't suggest you challenge that. But, you know, it is not feasible to do whatever the bill thinks it does. Within the parameters set out in the bill, the chief executive said this will lead to the banning of the app in the country. Prior efforts to widely restrict TikTok in the U.S. has not been successful. The most recent case stems from Montana passing an outright ban last year. A federal judge temporarily blocked the law from taking effect in January, saying it was unconstitutional. That's it. Well, my thing is this. This is me, guys. TikTok is becoming problematic, especially if you have more than half your population on an app or on any app that you do not control. That is actually national security risk, personally. Now, if it's America, which they could put some rules, regulations on certain things. But when you talk about outside force that's unfortunately having that much eyes and ears and attention of the American population, and you know most people that use this on TikTok is 67% women, that is a problematic thing. Well, only time will tell. We shall see next few months. But let's wrap this up. Various.
Yeah. So I'll step back in terms of like.
We got the clips too. If you want me to play that first.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to play that first?
Yeah, a bill's being passed, right?
Yeah. We can show it real fast and then I guess you can comment on it. Is this from Fox News, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, both of them. All right, we're gonna share a screen with y'all real fast because this is some big stuff right here.
There are many U.S. platforms to tap, and believe me, the conversation's going on every morning since this bill.
Now, I'm going to fast forward because I don't want to waste my time seeing this. So I'm going to fast forward that part. That's the news anchor. And I want to go from the news anchor. All right. So let's listen to their reactions. I read the bit. I read one of the CBS News take on it. I'm not going to go through what other people is going to go through the take. Let's be fair. All right. Let's continue listening various.
Yeah, man, if you could comment on that a little bit. That's big news.
W Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we put a letter out there that we expressed interest in TikTok. The way I see it right now, this has to go through multiple iterations. The House just passed the bill, and then the Senate has to pass it, and then I think Biden said that he would sign it if the Senate passes it.
Yeah.
And then that would obligate them to divest.
You think this is something we could see in 2024? Or would this have to come into play with whoever the president is at the end?
I think we're gonna know more in the next 30 to 60 days.
Oh, wow.
I think this is gonna be very fast, and we're gonna know a lot in the next couple months here. And it really just depends on the Senate, I think, on what happens in the Senate. But when you take a look at it, and the letter really kind of talks about us being the technology partner, but when you look at this potential acquisition of TikTok and how this has to happen, we expressed interest of wanting to be part of a consortium and being the tech partner on it on the cloud side. And Kevin is right on in one aspect, Kevin O'Leary that you saw in the clip there, but Meta is not going to be able to do anything here because of antitrust concerns. Google, same reason. They're not going to be able to step in either because of antitrust concerns. So when you're looking out there, who is a video company that could help in some capacity? Rumble is long form. Yeah. TikTok's short form. So that's high res down to low res. That and it's only the United States. It's not global. So how many other video companies out there that have that capability to understand how to run video, both on video at all?
Yeah,
there really isn't any that I can think of off the top of my head. And how many people? The big other problem that any consortium is going to have, or any buyer is going to have, is the algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah, and it goes back to algorithm. We all know the algorithm dictates what's being seen, what's been put out there, and what it needs or what they allow out here. Let's be honest. And without the algorithm, it controls a lot of things for people who don't know. Like literally, it's the thing, the driving force that pushes your content. So keep that in mind. Let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
Because I don't believe the way the law is set up in China that ByteDance will be able to sell the algorithm due to their IP restrictions in China. So someone has to build the algorithm for video and understand video in order to step in with TikTok. And like, that's what company does that.
Yeah.
Obviously, YouTube does it. Obviously, Meta does it. But like, really, all the companies out there that do that are going to have antitrust concerns. So like,
even Twitch, right? You would say So Twitch,
Amazon.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Twitch is part of Amazon, and they're more just live streaming. They're not like in that kind of space yet.
Pre-recorded short form content. Yep.
In algo based stuff. So one of the things we're working on Rumble behind the scenes, because it's been a big problem, is our search and our recommendation algorithm. And we've hired data scientists to be working on this for quite some time now. So like, our recommendation algorithms and our data scientists are obviously working on this. So like, what other company out there is actually working on algorithms for video?
Question for you.
I think it's like, when you look at it, it's just, Rumble's obviously, they got the cloud. We are obviously working on algorithms. I think like I think Kevin said it best.
I got a question. If you guys were to,
All right, so, and I remember what my good friend Shadowstar wrote. The algorithm is housed at Oracle. Yeah, I know. I think I'm familiar with Oracle. It's a lot of things from a lot of data science, and even including applications like Java, especially Java scripts on Oracle. Last time I checked. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Probably correct me, Shatter. But yeah, all those techs, keep an eye out and really monitor what's being put out for the web. So let me see. All right, let me keep going. Let me switch. All right, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
acquire TikTok, would you guys acquire it intact the way it is, or would you guys have to change the name? Would you guys have to change a substantial amount of data behind it? How much would you guys have to change when you acquire, or could you guys keep it fairly similar to what it is now?
Yeah. So first, we don't know what that would look like and how the divestment from ByteDance would look like, and what that would entail and all the details of it. And second, like, you know, we want to be part of a consortium, so not just us, obviously, but you know, this is a very expensive transaction.
Yeah.
And we want to be the tech partner in that. So like, those are a lot of questions that, you know, would be better answered at a later date, depending on how everything flows. It really depends, like what the bills look like, what actually ends up happening. Like right now, it's just it's a little bit of a jump ball in the sense that, you know, we don't know what the Senate's going to do yet.
Right.
And
Speculation.
we have to wait and see what the Senate does. And, you know, my opinion on that is that it's changed. I would say, like, I was maybe like a month ago thinking no way it could ever pass, but, you know, I think like things are changing a little bit. It could pass. It's definitely changing after how the House passed it. It's definitely changing. I don't know what will happen.
I got one more. If you guys,
well, if the House decide to look into it now, it is now, in their opinion, national security risk. And I'm gonna tell people a little secret. I think people are aware of this way. Y'all know that every time when you subscribe to these apps that they are using your data, they let you know in the terms of service. I think Facebook now, because of the issue of the data used for other reasons, they have to be expressing more on their platform now. Because a lot of times when you subscribe, they don't really tell you that, but now they have to really implement that and enforce it. Because data is money. The more data you have, it's like gold. It's currency. Because I know what you like, what you want to buy, and also, so I'm going to push you to certain products with the help of the algorithm for you to purchase and buy. That's how it's supposed to go. All right, so Shell writes again. The algo was housed at Oracle. They said that it gets large daily, so it is very hard to move it without a substantial amount of tech to back it up and redeploy it. Yeah. All right. Fair use.
Guys acquired it, right? Would you guys be able to implement a similar free speech / free expression model to that TikTok?
At this point, we don't know. Like,
Okay.
we don't know what anything will look like. We don't know what the consortium would look like. There's a lot of unknowns at this point in
Gotcha.
time.
Almost like when Elon got Twitter, he unbanned a bunch of people. So I guess
Yeah,
for
we're
us,
banned on
we'd be
TikTok.
grateful to get unbanned on TikTok
Yeah.
as well. That'll be like, hey, Chris.
Yeah.
But you guys are banned on TikTok?
Yeah,
dude.
like
Yeah.
20 times,
And here's
bro.
the thing: we got banned. We got
30
banned on
times.
TikTok back before TikTok was cool like that. We
Yeah.
got banned in 2020 when it
Yeah.
was just starting to take off in the
Wow.
beginning of the pandemic. So it's like.
remember-
Now we blow up on TikTok because people repost our stuff. But as far
Yeah.
as like us having official accounts on TikTok, we haven't had
remember-
official accounts since December 2020.
Clear as
Wow.
day. We were just getting into the content game, trying to push ourselves to be marketed on different platforms.
I remember the day we got canceled. Me and
We're-
you were at the barbershop.
yeah.
Remember that?
We're walking by Blackbird recording TikTok videos. The title was, I remember it clear as day. Punishing women for
Walking
bad
by where?
Blackbird. It's like
Okay.
a local
Yeah, I
lounge
was filming
down the street.
TikToks, and one of my videos went viral. Like, you got to
Punishing
punish
bad
bad
behavior.
behavior from women when they flake on dates. That went viral, and that video led to us blowing up, but it also led to us like getting banned off
We
TikTok.
had like 3 million views on the first day.
Yeah.
And we got banned for it.
Yeah, like a week.
And what I tell see, this is what I don't respect about TikTok. They tell me it's free speech. Why are you banning men that talk about the opposite sex? But it sure as hell these women could talk about your butt and they don't get banned. When you hold women accountable, you get banned on TikTok. Ironic, and it's run by the Asian. And they very notorious, unfortunately, to their women. How I know? Look at the population of China. I'm going to go there today. If you did love and respect women, the one-child policy, if it was going to come into effect, you should go by the law of nature to decide what comes from the earth. And clearly, if you have more boys than women, we all know nature, unfortunately, if you have one child, you potentially make the risk that you're going to have more girls than men. That's how it normally goes. And since, was it Xi Jinping put the policy in effect about the one-child policy back in the 60s, 70s? If you did not know, because they put that, and I think now they kind of went back and watered down that now you can have more than one child in China. But one time it was one child. They prioritize the males than the females. Did y'all know that? And because doing that, you have an influx of more males than women. So I find it very intriguing that you are protecting a certain set of women, but not really looking at the interests of your women, where there's more men than women. That is insane that you have more men than women. I want that to sink in a little bit. You have more men than women. Other nations, they don't operate where it said we want more men, screw the women. They leave it to the law of average. They leave it to the creation of man, or actually creation of nature itself, to dictate who comes back in this earth realm. If that means if a woman comes first before a man in conception, then you leave it as that. You don't just sit there and say, as a girl, as a girl coming more than men. We're going to have to regulate that. We're going to off this say we have these, and mind you, they keep tabs who comes in the earth. And I guarantee you, it's not a lot of males that come straight through the womb off the bat, first time. Just saying. I'm just saying. And now let's keep going. Various.
A week later,
But-
the accounts were all gone.
But hey,
And they,
it
they
works.
broadcast it on the reel.
But now we still, because now when people meet me or whatever, they'll say, yo, I love your content, whatever. They always say, oh, I found you on TikTok.
TikTok.
So people are still reposting our stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have an official account on there.
Yeah.
So, bro, I hope y'all acquire it, man.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real,
I
man.
think it'd be better for the creators anyway. Like, I know a lot of people are scared, like, no, don't get rid of TikTok. But I think you guys having it would be a lot better than
who would
whoever
be
controls it now.
Who would be who is more qualified on the operator and the tech side?
I don't know.
I really want to ask that question
Yeah.
because like I sincerely believe that Rumble, like I can't think of anybody
It'll be easy
outside
mode
of
for you
Rumble.
guys. You guys are able to
because
host hours of
you
video.
can't have Google step in. You can't have Meta step in. Like they all have antitrust concerns.
Yeah.
What about Kick?
Shit. Actually, that segues perfectly into our next question.
Oh damn, they messed up for saying that. Kick actually is starting to grow. Don't sleep on Kick, guys. And for those that's not knowing, you should also have a Kick account as well. If you know how to get it, get it. Great content on Kick as well. Another good platform as well. Matter of fact, I think Kick is a little bit more lenient. If you get like a couple, like close to 100 followers, you're guaranteed to make maybe roughly $500 a month. Let that sink in. Fair use.
Chris, what's your thoughts on alternative platforms besides Rumble that are kind of fighting the fight against YouTube and Twitch, etc. Kick, BitChute. I'm trying to think of the other. There's a few others that I can't think of right now. Odyssey, etc. What's your thoughts on all these other alternative platforms?
It's a great thing.
Okay.
And as a creator, it's the best thing. It creates competition is so good
Yeah.
for creators. And in the live streaming space, like Kick is they're doing a great job acquiring talent, creating a market for talent, and that helps creators. Like one of the things I don't get is like you see YouTubers and they're just like they'll like knock like platforms and they'll trash platforms that aren't like YouTube or Twitch, and you're like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because like their economy gets better if we succeed.
Yeah.
Their economics
Yeah.
get better if we succeed. They're having Kick and Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey is an amazing thing for the economics of creators
Overall,
yeah.
overall.
Facts.
Like you want that to happen as a creator. So from the creator perspective, it's a great thing. From the market perspective, it's a great thing. Like competition is great. It makes everybody better. It forces Rumble to do better. It forces Twitch to do better. All these things are great things. And like, we see this as an opportunity too for us. Like one is BitChute. They started using the Rumble Advertising Center. So now they're starting to monetize. So like we're helping them monetize. We see this as like Rumble has 4 amazing assets. And this is the way I look at the business. The prime asset, like the one that we're all familiar with, is the video platform that competes against YouTube. The second asset is the Rumble Advertising Center. I refer to that as RAC. And companies like BitChute and many others are now using RAC to monetize their sites. And it's not just for Rumble, but it's for other people. So if anybody wants to step in and bring ads onto their site, RAC is going to do that for them. We're competing directly against Google AdSense and Google Ad Exchange and Google Ads. And that's RAC, another amazing asset. In perspective, Google bought DoubleClick, their ad server, for billions of dollars. We built this in the last year and a half.
So he's breaking out the logistics, the numbers. As you know, like Chris Pavlovsky, and I agree with Chris Pavlovsky, competition breeds innovation. It brings the best out of you, and you fry better when you have to compete. You always had to be on eggshells. You always had to be, your back has to be against the wall to really bring out the best out of you. Case in point, you know what did this well? WWE, when they were competing against WCW, they had to change what they're doing or be out of business. I tell people many times, look at where a corporation has been now, and I guarantee I will tell you, look at who was competing against them to bring the best out of them, and you compare the difference. Once there's no competition, all forms of innovation, improvement on stuff of the product dies. It dies. It dies. I want that to sink in. It dies. Let that marinate. Fair use.
We didn't spend billions of dollars doing that. So I see that as like an incredible asset that this business has. The third one is we got cloud. Like cloud. Rumble has a cloud. Like that's
huge.
That's incredible. Like we can now compete directly with Amazon AWS. And like or Microsoft Azure. I see that as an opportunity. Like all these companies that want to be closer to free speech and want to move into that direction, why aren't they using our cloud? That's a great place to be. So I see them all as potential customers. Hopefully one day, I see our assets kind of like a lot of our assets can work for them. And then the fourth asset that we have is a studio, which is completely different than and completely new. It's not something that Google has. I think this is kind of going to be one of our weapons in really competing in this whole ecosystem, is giving the ability for all creators, big or small, to run ads, run right directly in their live streams through using Rumble Studio and multi-streaming to all platforms. So, and that is also a great tool for every single one of the platforms. So for us, I see the whole market as an opportunity, and I don't see any single one as a negative. I see it as a positive, especially a positive for the creator community.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like we have lots of opportunity with all these companies, and I want to tap into that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
No, it's good. So yeah, I could read some of these chats because I know you guys probably have some questions and stuff like that. So yeah, man, get your questions in now, guys. With Rumble ran it in. What do we got here?
All right, guys. Yeah, I agree with you. Open source AdSense is what he's speaking. Yeah. All right, remove this. All right. Oh. I'm gonna put the invite now. Come up, guys. Call lines open. I'm gonna take some reaction and hear from the crowd, regardless of small, big, that's possible to watch or who, in general. Come up. Want to hear from y'all. And one thing, as I'm waiting for people to come up, let me say this. Be perfectly honest with y'all. I think this is a good move. This is a very wise move. I respect everything Chris has laid out in today's stream. This is an unusual. Well, it's not usual. It's an actual fair reaction, personally, about the take on Rumble. And in my opinion, I think Rumble's in a good spot right now in regards to competition, innovation, and really, if they keep on with the projection they're going to go really far. I think they have the potential to compete with Google. Now, a lot of people say that, well, if Google feels they're going to be threatened, they might buy off Rumble, which that is the highly possibility. But here's the kicker. If the Chinese is not going to sell TikTok, and Chinese worth a lot with TikTok, you think someone like Chris is going to sit there this also going to sell Rumble to YouTube so they could knock off the competition? I don't think so. At all. And I don't think he's going to anyway. Because all these platforms, there's no expression of actual what they call free speech. So I'm opening the line now for questions and quick dialogue. What's good, Shatterstar? How you doing? And
bro,
you hear me?
yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you good now. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that I thought that was key what he said earlier was not only about the Kick platform, but what he said about the open source advertisements that they are doing. And then the main thing that I was really interested in, Chaos, he said they bought their own server that's going up against Amazon Web Services and Google and Microsoft's computing.
Yeah.
The cloud. They bought their own cloud. So now if you can get open source on your own cloud and then still let all the platforms get the advertising money from a small creator to a big creator, how is that not helping out for all creators? Let's make it more competitive.
Yeah, and that was the whole premise of Chris Pavlovsky. He in his mind, he's not afraid of competing. He demands it. He ushers it. He said, "Bring it on." And at the time when he established Rumble and was looking for people to sponsor during its infant stage back in the last decade, a lot of them look at him like, "You're crazy. Why would you want to compete with YouTube?" And the first thing that comes to my mind is, "Oh, you're in bed with YouTube Brady." I see what's going on, because you should not be fighting against another person that is an entrepreneur or innovator that wants to create another video service platform outside the one we are in right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I mean, even like Batman got to have the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Superman got to have Lex Luthor, right?
Yes.
We got to have somebody. You know what I mean? Like, just like even WWE, right? We was talking about the WWE when they changed it because it was WWF. WCW kept them honest. It kept them honest, man. They had to change. Now, they had the big superstars too. And they got a lot of them once WCW went under. But that may have been Vince McMahon playing the whole time. But see, we changed it up to WWE. It was entertainment now. So now they deploying videos. They was on to it, back in the day. They had to upgrade that. You can't stay the same in this the algorithm, like you were saying. They housing the algorithm.
Yeah.
That TikTok algorithm is so the reason, and see, I'm telling you, a lot of people be sleep, man. But I'm gonna tell you some real game. The reason why they doing it, making a whole fuss about it right now, is because it didn't got way out of hand, man. And somebody gonna have to be held to task. So now finally the people then put their hats on and say, well, we gotta do something because our name on this. And if it do wind up being, if we put a microscope on it, we could be culpable for treason, collaborate with the enemy. It could be a whole bunch of things because that algorithm is based on a country that's at odds with us. So that's a problem. So we need to rail that in. You know what I'm saying? So now you see the distraction. Meanwhile, the algorithm is so evolving. The people at Oracle are saying that they need more technicians to even just handle what they got now. The algorithm, it gets so big every day. It was explaining how they only had like 30 techs, but he's saying really he needed like 300. And if it was to back it up and sell it to anybody and keep it at its current state and never let TikTok ever go down, because it's in Oracle. Oracle got a protected site that is supposed to be protected, allegedly, at Oracle in Texas, where it's walled off from the Chinese. You understand? Allegedly. That's why it's there. You see? Okay. But the text there saying that if they did do it, they don't have enough men to back it up and put it back right. They got to really get out because he said that the algorithm grows so much every day. It calls more servers. It's getting bigger. It's not getting smaller, Chaos. You see? And it's been working.
But everything has to get bigger anyway, because when you have more people on the application, you have to expand to house all this data.
You got to be able to scale. Do the scale, right? They got the money. They scaled it up. And that's why it's so dangerous. That's why they have it. Why would they have that algorithm specifically at a place where China could not get it at? You know what I'm saying? Why? Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. Because I'm telling you, I just seen an Air Force man. He just gave up agent secrets. And like for $30,000, the Chinese government paid him. I'm like, $30,000? You get paid more for that to be in the position that you at. Like your signing bonus, Air Force, man, he sold his soul for $30,000 and gave him the agent secrets and everything. I don't even know if we arrested him. I don't know what happened with him, but these are the type of people that we talking about. And you got these kind of people in it. That's military, like the harshest justice in the world. Now you got these people in real life that's got a company that's got an algorithm so big that we can't even handle it. We got to have it behind firewalls in Texas just so that the Chinese folks can't even get hold to it because it's so bad now. And now they want to sell it. Who gonna buy it? My man telling the truth. If we just buy another thing, well, we won't have to have it on there. Everybody got open source, can get their advertising, this and that. Okay, yeah, the TikTok, yeah, it bring you a lot of views. But what is the algorithm doing? It's forcing. Is it the life imitating the art, or is the art imitating the life? So now, the algorithm just pay you for the most crazy challenges. The challenges. How many challenges have we seen, Chaos? The challenges, Tide Pods. I mean, my God, the challenges. Just and cheer and be dead, taking the Tide Pods on the TikTok shit, and like, who does it? But they got people that they can put the algorithm. Everybody they put a challenge on it. Now we got kids taking Tide Pods. I mean, you couldn't make it up, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Algorithm. That's the algorithm we dealing with. You see what I'm saying? It's the algorithm. They pushing that. You know what I mean? I bet you if you like how Elon Musk went on there and got the Twitter and found out their algorithm, if somebody was to buy it as it is, whatever, I would if I was in the government, which I am not, but if I was, I would buy the shit just to see what the fuck that they got on there, to see what they doing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we live in a crazy world, so shit, they might be working with the motherfuckers. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. I think no one else has anything else to say on this, so I will call this a day. What's this? Okay. So
and that's a win for creators, though, man. Look, think about it. Open source advertisements, bro, on any platform. Any platform you can get your open source. Now, that's something I can get behind right there, because I'm telling you, just having one person and no competition, man, that's an easy way. Like the man was saying, like, oh yeah, they want everybody just line up and just say whatever the fuck, just so they get the AdSense. Well, shit, they don't like you, they shadow ban you. We're gonna do open source where everybody get their money. Okay, what's wrong with that? That sound like a good plan to me.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But like I said, we're gonna sit back and see the outcomes the next few months. TikTok's the one that's gonna be the watchful eye of all this, but we shall see. We shall see, Shatter. Any short closing remarks, bro?
We'll see what the TikTok thing is, but on the end of the blast, if he bought a comparable to AWS, because on deployment for certain video games, if you're gonna do a live service, you have to have cloud power. AWS, they're gonna sell you that power. You can get it from Google and you can get it from Microsoft. But if you had your own server to where you could serve a game, multiple instances over the whole world with low latency, no problems. Well, actually, though, everything that costs like so much money, it's ridiculous. So if a person was able to get that type of level of buying that to where you can have a full cloud, now you can buy a cloud. So now instead of me having to go, let's say, buy the cloud from Microsoft, or I could buy it from Amazon Web Services, which Lumberyard is built off of, and it's a good platform. It uses Unreal. It's a nice platform. But instead of having to go and buy it through them, I could buy it through someone else and still get the server. I can make my same game, don't have to change nothing, but I don't have to go through Google or Amazon or Microsoft. It'll be a next person that can compete with them, and they're less, you know what I'm saying, on the trying to destroy and we're doing open source. That is like anti-shadow banning. Like, okay, even if you're a small creator, big creator, we're gonna allow you to run ads on your platform. You get the money that you get because whatever you get your money, we're gonna pay it out. It's open source. That's a great idea for all creators, and I appreciate you putting that video out because I haven't even seen that, but I'm in the mix, man, and I like how they put that on because think about that. You got an open source now. It takes away from the like the line step of how they try to play you on certain platforms, man, where they just shadow ban you down, and it will allow you to still have advertisements and things of that nature. That's a great thing, man. You know,
Yeah.
I appreciate you putting that video out there because, man, you showed me some stuff I didn't even know, and that made me had to think. I'm like, you know what? That would be a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Thank you again for coming up, Shatter. We'll do this again soon. All right, bro.
All right, man. For sure.
All right. All right. All right, guys. That's it for today's stream. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the comment section of this one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on your way in, on your way out. The links to follow me are in the description, and I'll give you to them now. The links to my social media are the following. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You could add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. You could also now follow me on Rumble. My Rumble page is on the description and in the chat room of this live stream. And also join the Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show as well. And become a member. 2 tiers membership. Become a member of the Chaos Rain Show. So as you know, very small membership. Try and grow the membership a little bit so I can do some, more raunchier content behind, the so-called paywall. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, Chris Pavlovsky has something working, and he's in a good position right now. Now that we're in a so-called election cycle, and moving forward, I think Rumble has a high expectation of growth, and I expect great things from Rumble. So, like I said, if you guys don't got Rumble, I suggest you get one now. The app is pretty decent now, and it's going to be even better now with all the new features because they get a lot of traffic now on Rumble. So, like I said, only time will tell where Rumble or where the face Rumble will be heading. I'll tell one thing: if it is going to be like all these other platforms, it's going to be a long way coming for that to happen. I think the only way that's going to happen is if these corporations like YouTube and other buy off Rumble. Other than that, I think the guy that created the platform, he sticks onto what it's really meant for, and that is for free expression. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching today's live stream. Until next time, let it chaos reign.
Some kids are always trying to ice skate uphill.